What's up, man? It's your boy Brandon Bird. Just getting in with you guys on the cruising series. It's not really a rant today, but it's kind of like I just really wanted to speak out a little something. I know there's a lot of denial going on right now with a lot of black people about this racism that they now should be seeing, but they clearly don't want to see it, and I think that's a problem and that need to be addressed. Now, I did a little short video post on my Instagram, about the black code, and I made a few reference in other videos about the black code, and other people talk about the black code, and I think the black code need to be enforced. And I told the reason why I think it need to be enforced is we can't support those who do not follow the code. That if we're not on the same page and you're basically going against your benefit and our benefit in fighting white supremacy, organized racism, then you are an obstruct to the cause, and you are in clear violation of the black code. Now that's what the black code is. Black code is basically you stick together. You don't need to be vocal, but what you need to be is you need to be in coherence and on a familiar same page. Like if you're let's just say randomly, if you see a white person talking ill about a black person, and they kind of want you to get on code with it, like they want you to put a little bit of garbage on that black person, and you kind of like just basically refuse to do it. You pretty much said, no, I'm good, I don't need to do it. Then that, my friend, that is, I would say a soft wording of the black code. The black code really generally, you don't throw each other under the bus for the sake of approval of the dominant society, and therefore. So that's pretty much the black code. And I told a lot of people you got a lot of coons that's really going against you. I would say I call them coons because that's what they are, but you have a lot of black people that's really showing themselves to be coons, and that needs to be addressed. That have to be addressed. I'm not trying to badmouth people. I'm not going against the grain or etc. But it is what it is. But yeah, man, it's just a simple fact that you have certain black people that's just right now getting off the code. Now also too, I want to just explain a little bit of people when they're very confident and comfortable with a black person. They will, a lot of people say when you're drunk, that's when your true feelings come out, and that's very true. But even you don't need to be drunk. You can actually be somewhat sober, and they'll tell you. Because like I said, when they get really comfortable and you get really, really, really cool, like they really like you, like they really, really like you, and they have a deeply found respect for you. All right. They normally tend to, they'll start being honest and asking you certain questions. And this question, and when I say these certain questions or like somewhat personally, they're basically race related. It's very race related. Like they'll start like telling you they'll ask some questions like why black people do this and this and that. And when they ask you these questions, you gotta take into account these questions are actually deep, deep feelings they have towards black people as a whole. But as because they're so friendly with you, and they prop you up as a token, what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to separate you. Like when they say they don't see colors, no, they what they really meant and is basically they stripped you of your racial color, dignity. They stripped you from your identity. Because to really talk about somewhat of race with you, they had to mentally, in a psychology way, literally take your color from you. That you have to be like a person with no color. You have to be like one of those shape, the very fuzzy shape type of deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of people, down society, non-black people, that's what they will normally do, and they'll try to make it very harmless as possible, and some black people kind of go over their head. It went over my head before. You know what I'm saying? But for me, looking at the situation I was in, I was able to break down. This is how they deal with almost. This is how they deal with race. And when they normally, that's why I tell when white people or Hispanic people, whatever if anybody said they don't see race or see color, no, they're talking about, well, I don't see colors because I psychology took your identity away from you. So I don't know, I no longer see you as this type of person. I just see you as a thing, almost, and that's pretty much what it is. I just see you as an object, an unidentified object. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is, like a UFO. So, that's basically how they construct. They construct you while talking about race to you, and they will tend to basically, and this is kind of weird as well. They tend to when they talk about your race, they will let you know, like, man, and sometimes the girls are a little bit more honest than the guys. All right, the females are a little bit more honest than the guys, especially when they're talking to the opposite sex, and vice versa. Now it depends on the black person that they're talking to. Are you going to just sit there and take the bluntly disrespect and racist attitude that that person just said to you and shared to you, or are you going to defend your people and say, oh, no, that's not right, I don't want to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's sticking to black code. And that's why I tell people, like, when a lot of them get really comfortable with you, they really talk about race. So don't ever let white people or any other non-group fool you that is not racial. It's very racial. They just don't say it in a group. They don't say it to a large group of black people. They rather say it to a token black person. Something that's a little bit mild and seem harmless and very, very tame. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what they look at, black people. If they see you kind of violent, edgy, the minute they say something, it's boom, you quickly in a confrontation. They don't like that. That makes them very comfortable, very uncomfortable into really of a not just a friendship, but some of that as controlling. I'm not saying the entire population of the Dom society thinks that way, but a good majority of them do. Like same with interracial. Like some white women, like I said before, some white women, they hate black women. There's a lot of white men that hate black men. I mean, you got a lot of black women that's with white men, they hate black men. So, and I told them, you can't hate, like, you're dating me, you can't hate an entire section of my people. You know what I'm saying? So, because that means you hate my dad, you hate my brothers, you hate my grandfathers, you hate you hate every male in my family. So that's same way in with the women. The women they hate the women of your race. And and I think you got a lot of black people that co-sign that. And to me, you're off code, and that's why you're considered to be a coon, because you're off code. And plus, it's even more sad that your non-black partner looking at you as a UFO, because they really, when people deal with black people, the first thing that they know what you are, but to deal with you, they have to strip your identity away. So you become a UFO to them, and that's on either side. That's even kids are the most honest. That's the most honest stage of your life when you're a child, because you're not aware of codes and bell whistles and cues. You're pretty much just speaking from the heart. You speak strictly what you don't like, or you speak what you know is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the kids were like, look, when I was in Kentucky, and, I'm a truck driver, so I go everywhere. I was in Kentucky. I was in eastern Kentucky. Now, Harvey speaks about there's actual enclaves of areas around this country that have no black people whatsoever. All right? No black people whatsoever. And that could be a very scary thing, as if you are a black individual and you actually come across these enclaves or these pockets, or what I'm saying, I call them white zones. It could be a very tense situation. I've been through a couple of them. I've been through one in North Georgia, very, very racial, very, very clans, a lot deep rooted in clans, deep rooted in even Nazism. Very historically a Confederate area. But I've been to, like I said, I was in this one area in Kentucky, man. It was the East Kentucky. It was like in the Eastern Hills. And I stopped at this restaurant. It's called Corbin County. And I think that's the county that Harvey was talking about. Shout out to Superboy. I was a trucker, man, so I had to stay there. And, I went and got something to eat. And, people kind of stopped. Now, I had some of these similar reactions even up there in New England when I was in Maine. But the white people up there was pretty cool. But when I was out here, in Kentucky, man, this little white girl, she was like no more than 5 years old. Well, she came up to me, and she kind of looked at me. First she was looking how tall I was. 'Cause I was pretty much the tallest dude in the entire store. So she asked me, where am I? Where am I? And she asked me, where are you? Like, where are you? And that was a very disturbing thing, cause she and this is a real deal. You have a lot of white children that's born in these white zones that never seen a black person. Some of them probably don't have TV, so a lot of them don't really, never really seen a black person ever. So when she, I mean, eventually she gonna probably know what I am, but it might won't be what I'm hoping for. That's probably would be the best prediction for that situation. So her mom kind of like, apologized. I'm saying it's cool. And, I went back in my truck and that irked me a little bit, man. That irked me because I never, that little girl looked at me as like a straight UFO. I was an unidentified object. And so sadly, that's the case, and that's the reality for a lot of black people that do have friends or do run in a non-black environment. You are tend to be looked at as a UFO. Now, but don't get me wrong. When they deal with you, that's what they look at you. That's what they deem you as, a UFO. But they will when it needs to be, they'll bring up your race very quick when it needs to be. But when they bring up the race, now sometimes it's from other reactions, like other actions, like somebody's being racist to you. You deal with a racist that was in front of them. They might say something. They might kind of look at you like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know." But there's some that will fight with you. They'll speak out against that. I have a lot of people that speaked out on the racism that I faced. And as a black person, you can't be ignorant to these situations. And I'm not trying to say abandon your white friends or your non-black friends. I'm not saying that either. I'm thinking to myself, you need to just not be ignorant and have a stupidity of that you living under white supremacy, organized racism. And there's a lot of majority of the people that you might run with, they got racial bias towards you or your people. You know what I'm saying? But for them to somewhat not put you included to their racial bias of black people, they will mentally strip you of your color. And that's where you just become a UFO. You know what I'm saying? So just be aware just be aware of the surrounding, but not just the surrounding. Be aware of the mentality and the psychology of the people around you, and see how they really look at the racial concept and the construct, and also the relations of what they feel is normal to them in race relations. So there's a lot of things you got to look at, but don't be ignorant to the fact that it can't happen to you. Because you will learn the hard way. But like I said, man, I know I went too much on this rant. I'm just, like I said, I'm doing the cruise, so I'm just kind of doing the cruise. Like I said, I'm gonna definitely hit you guys up with a fun fact of history. I'm actually going to do a share maybe today or tomorrow. But I would definitely come out with another fun fact of history. I definitely will put a little bit more information with the figure that I did, Dr. Charles Drew. I would definitely release more information on that person as well. But I would definitely do another fun fact of video. So, like I said, man, I'll see you guys in a little bit. You guys take care, all right? One.